called my mom yesterday and I asked her, Mommy, when was I the first time in a hot springs? And she said to me that I went with her and my grandfather, was unfortunately not there anymore. My mom is 78, so my grandfather is unfortunately not there anymore, to Baden-Baden. He was the conductor early on from the Düsseldorf Philharmonie, and they played classical music at the Baden-Baden Hofgarten, which is the, what do you call this in English, the cultural hot spring gardens center, right? So I touched hot springs very early, but when I went into the spa business, I actually went into luxury spas, Mandarin spas, and I started GOCO. And then in 2010, I was asked to head Howard Health and Wellness, a company which does nothing else than analyzing data, feasibility, and concepts. So we are the lucky person that we have a lot of data and we can see a lot of numbers. And then what also happened in 2011, two banks asked us to analyze two particular day spas. One in Paris, in the basement of a luxury big hotel, branded hotel. And the other one was in 12, I think, was in London. A company had just established an entire lifestyle center over various square meters. And the bank said, we have a problem here. And the problem was it didn't make money. So then, you do those things, you analyze them. And then I also was in the process of getting married. And I said, what do I want to do with my wife? I was a GM, I was a board member, I'm a spa consultant, and so she's a master planner, an architect. We want to do something where we can find ourselves in. So two of the projects Mike just showed us, we looked at. I really looked all over the world to get a project where destination wellness, spa, bathing, organic food, I'm a cancer survivor, so I eat fairly healthy most of the time. I'm still naughty sometimes. And complementary medicine all come together. And then 2.5 years ago, Charles, actually better. 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. Glen Ivy came onto the market. So before I went to Glen Ivy, I gave a call to Charles. Of course, I respect him very much as a Minnow Spring operator. And I said, listen, Charles, you own this, you're a businessman, give me some advice. He said, which project? I said, Glen Ivy. He says, buy. In a second, he says, buy. I said, why? He says, why you go right now, I can't buy it, if not I would have bought it. Wow. That is a confirmation, right? Mm-hmm. When somebody in the business says, that's a great project plan. So I flew out, I walked it for 3 hours, and I went to the company who wanted to sell it, and I say, I want to buy. It took us a year to buy this thing because it was very convoluted. For many reasons I don't want to get into, but it was a big, complicated project. There was different entities involved and different loans and all kinds of different real estate and titles and all kinds of things. So I'm going to show you a little bit about what this is, and then the success. So this is Glen Ivy, Malibu, Beverly Hills, San Diego, Newport Beach. This is Glen Ivy, right? 30 million people in a matter of 2 hours, driving in one way or the other. 5 airports in an hour and a half. Now, for anybody who knows infrastructure and how to buy businesses, that's already a very good sign, right? So then I looked at it and I said, an active living community, a Glen Ivy golf course, 9 acres of organic farming, mineral springs, and a business which at that time between 150 and 170,000 people came every year, right? So it was not a small little business. Then I looked at it and I said, wow, 1948. I like 1948. 1848, sorry. I like historical things, right? And then I read things like this, the medical qualities are equal to those of the most celebrated springs and things like that. I continued and saw the 1870 bathhouse, which was still there. And then I saw how they arrived many, many years ago. They arrived by horse carriages, right? I said, oh, that's interesting. Then I looked at this and I looked at you can buy for 25 cents, you get a towel, you get a meal, and you can stay overnight somewhere, right? 25 cents. Mario, what can we buy for 25 cents here? Many years ago, many months ago. I looked at this building, and then I looked at, there was the possibility to own the entire hillside. I thought, that's interesting, right? It had many different titles, it wasn't so easy. It looked very good, but it had many different legal challenges. Then the 40s and the 50s, not my time, right? Even though I was born shortly after. And then there was the 70s. And here you can see sauna, massage, water, accommodation, organic living, fruit trees. Interesting. Continued this. And then came the grotto, and then came the club mat. Oh. Okay. Then they added, and they added, and they added. Okay, lounging pool in the restaurants. So there was a wellness community. Here's the old hotel. There was a wellness community. Then I look at numbers. I always like to understand numbers, right? So Glen Ivy is one of the 50 registered Middle Springs spa locations in North America. Very small part of the spa industry. Average number for all day spas was 8,500 people. We had 170,000 people there. We are 15% ahead. We looked at the average spend. We had an average spend of $138 per person per day. That means you come to Glen Ivy, you leave with $138 per person per day there. And then we had $21 million in revenue. This year we're making around 23 million. So we added $2 million in a short time span. Then I looked at, and you asked me for best practices, what did I need to do? I looked at the management, and it was very funny. I came with the lender. When you guys come with the lender to a property you want to buy, and the general manager says to you, it's 11 o'clock, but I have to go now. You say, wow, okay, today he has to go, fine. Tomorrow he stays longer. We have lunch tomorrow, and, oh, sorry, it's 11:30, but I had to go. And I said, that cannot be true. So, long story short, the management was not engaged. We had literally everybody, director of marketing, financial controller, general manager, and so forth, being part-time workers, but being paid double the salary you normally ought to pay, right? It didn't work. It was really unusual. I called Charles, I said, Charles, give me some advice. And he gave me the right advice. Actually, he confirmed my thoughts, because he had similar observations. So I took the best man in my operating team. I worked with Clive before. Clive was the general manager before for one of the projects under Mandarin Oriental. He was in Kamalaya, that's a destination spa in Thailand. He was running it for 4 years. Then he was for 2.5 years my corporate office. Actually, he was supposed to go to a destination spa in China we were doing. That project didn't materialize because there's lots of Chinese projects which got stuck. I think that's the best way of saying that, right? Yes. President Xi makes sure that lots of Chinese projects don't materialize for one reason or the other. So best practice is take somebody, work with somebody you like, you respect, and where you're totally aligned. Then we went and said, listen, let's ask the guests really what they want. We were very successful, right? 21 million bucks, $138, that's not bad. But we said, what do you really like? The first thing they said to us, please open in the evening. Can you imagine the second visit with the lender? I was there, and at 3 o'clock after massage and some waters, we wanted to drink something. And we were told, I'm sorry, but the cafe is closed. And at 4 o'clock you have to leave the property. Now in California at 4 o'clock, some of the best times, the sun goes down, balming weather. But your business closed. I said, that cannot be true. So I went to the management, and at that time the manager says to me, the property needs to rest. It's to be quiet. I said, what is that? He said, is it the pumps? The pumps are not good anymore? He said, no. I found out because they had only one shift and everybody was leaving. Starting 11 o'clock, the entire management left, right? And then staff was only left after 1 o'clock. So, management alignment. So we looked at them and said, open up in the evening. Serve healthy food. Now, you just saw 8 acres of organic farming there, right? We sold this year, because we couldn't use so much, 7.2 tons of avocados. So we have lots of fruits and vegetables and orange juice and grapefruits and macadamia and olives and just apples and pears and I don't know what else we have. Plenty. It's all there. We had cans in our cafe. The chef was with Miraval, Canyon Range, and Rancho La Puerta before. The last 18 years of his life. Rihanna smiles because she knows. But he was opening cans. I'm not kidding you. He was opening cans. Didn't work, right? So, healthy food, couple sabanas, and make some art workshops. So what else did we do? I came in, and right at the reception, at the point where 170 people come in and out, we had a storeroom and a closed sushi bar which hadn't been in operation since 5 years. So I went to my wife and I say, we want coffee, tea, healthy muffin, shakes. Can you do something about it? And she and one of her staff designed this thing here. So out of a storeroom came a cafe. Then we went here to our track, and what did I find? Sugar water. Everything was like this pre-gun, whatever, sugar water. I call it sugar water. I don't even remember what it was, right? We have fruits next door, so very soon yogurts, frozen yogurts, ice creams, shakes, juices, and related, right? Here's some of the design. Then people said, we want cabanas. This is how it looked before in one corner. Now there's cabanas. The cabanas pay back in how many weeks, Josephine? 8 weeks. In 8 weeks, we had the money for the cabanas all out. Who likes to be in this sauna? Who wants to go? Anybody wants to go this afternoon? I give it away for free. So when I went into and I love saunas and steam rooms, right? I went inside there and said, wow, let me get dressed up to sit down here. That's a real picture. That's what it looks now. Then we had an old hotel next door. I wanted to operate it. I'm a hotelier, right? I went to hotel school and so on. But there was ADA compliance in America. And ADA compliance in America is a killer. For anybody who knows it cost you millions to make it work. So I created apartments out of this. So we started a little community there. Then we looked at the salon, and somebody had put up some glass shelves here and put up some products there and said, listen, let's just sell that. No, they sold $500,000 worth of products here. But it looked like it was, in Eastern Europe in the 1850s after the war, Something like that.
Be careful.
So we designed, it's under construction, hopefully finished by late this year, early next year, an entire proper, very stylish design salon. What did we do operationally? We opened at night. We got DJs in on Friday and Saturday. We had, was it you or Jane? I forgot now.
I put it up.
You, no? We had like movie evenings. We had steel bands, reggae bands, and suddenly the people who were kicked out before at 3 to 4 o'clock started to dance at night on the weekends in the pools, right? And we suddenly had in a couple of weekends 10,200 people more than we ever had before. Okay, here we got some great DJs in from LA, and then came the LA group, they get going, no? When you get the LA downtown scene inside, they start moving. Then we got rid of the cans. We used our own fruits and vegetables. And then we started to market. Now, this is what happened before. This is what we did. Now, we took over in January, but we really took over in March because of some technicalities and related. So you can see in a very few days what we did. We have right now, I think, 380,000 Facebook followers, and I think we have like 2,500 to 3,500 people a day, hitting our website. We started to market it a little bit, and quite frankly, it's a one-woman show right now. Because one of the problems I saw, and Charles will laugh, during the entire summertime, we open at 9 o'clock. Any guess when we are closing? Rihanna?
Probably 12.
at 9:30 because the capacity was reached. It was configured not in the way we wanted or we should have, but that was what we had to accept. So for the 3-4 months in the summertime, 4 days a week, sometimes 5 days a week, at 9 open, 9:30, I'm sorry. And we had to give out vouchers. Before it was, thank you for coming, Samantha. You drove an hour. I love you very much. Bye-bye. Now we give you a voucher and we say, please come back next time. And here's a voucher. We invite you to join us, right? So we took care of our customers, so to say. And then we had suddenly, anybody knows Sex in the City? Mm-hmm. Okay. The original Sex in the City, I was told, is the women of Orange County. Yes. Okay, that was the original Sex in the City. We suddenly had the women of Orange County coming there. And the media, which creates, the hype in Orange County, having 5-6 women having fun. Pretty intense. So that caused a lot of PR and press and, news and things like that. So I wanted to share best practices. So what do you do when you take over? Before we talk about this, let's just stop here for a second. Everything we did was common sense. It wasn't Einstein. It was ask the guest, do what the guest wants, give it to them at the time they want it, give it to them the way how they want it, and you make $2 million more. Incredible, right? Common sense. Don't work 3 days a week, 3 hours a day, work 8-9 hours a day, and you're going to get there.
Ingo,
yeah.
10 minutes.
Okay, it's up. Okay. So that's what we did, and that's the numbers we have. We're generating over 50% profit. We will have this year around 170,000 people. Next year we're going to anticipate $26 million. So what do we do next phase? This is what it will look like. We're in the middle of the permission here. It takes a lot of money, a lot of time to get construction permits here. So we're going to move the orchards away from here. We move them up here, and we develop the GOCO Retreat here, a common heart of house, so that we can operate both branded residences, individual residences, and the entire build-up area is less than 20%. So plenty of orchards and greens and everything. You can walk around, pluck your apple, pluck this, go and get your macadamias and things like that, and it will all still be there. A few visuals that you can see what we are planning there. And I think like by October, November, Josephine tells me, perhaps December, January, next year, we have that, we have the permission. We're going to create a wellness community there where you can walk, eat, drink, and sleep wellness. We have 70 treatment rooms. We're going to add treatment rooms. We're going to add additional facilities in retail. We're going to use the organic farms. We have 400 hectares of unspoiled nature reserve right behind Glen Ivy. That means nobody can ever build there. 400 hectares. I think it will be enough for hiking, biking, and paragliding, and horseback riding, and all those kind of things. So here's some of the visuals of what we're going to create there. My time is up, but so the upper part is going to get more sophisticated mineral springs than and more smaller ones. Then downstairs is more volume-based business there. Event lawns. So what we want is an unpretentious environment in which you can eat, drink, but also have a couple of sophisticated homes. And with that, any questions? Questions?
Just a comment on what you did, because we went through the same thing. I think what's important is you do your research. And, Horwath, HBS, American Lives did the same research for us. We found that of that 30 million, we had filtered it who earned 100,000 and more and who ascribed to a wellness lifestyle, and that became our market. The problem that most people do who buy these hot springs, they just decide, let me renovate without doing the research that you did. So congratulations.
Yeah, I believe in making homework.
That daily spend of $138, is that after the development, or was that?
No, that's now.
So what was it previously?
It went actually between 100 and 140 because in slower days it's actually more, in busier days it's actually less. But now with 3 additional F&B outlets, which we have by next year, every spend will go up substantially.
So did the percentage of spend change to F&B? Like, was it mostly 70% soaking, 25%? Like, do you?
The breakdown is approximately 50% F&B and admission and 50% massage treatments. And then there's a retail of $1.5 million.
I understand you moved your F&B offerings to more of a wellness kind of offering.
No, we offered simply healthy food.
Just simply healthy food.
I mean, we didn't. There's still a pizza there, but the pizza is done with proper dough and pickled vegetables from next door and things like that. I mean, it's simply cleaner food. There's still nachos there because you take away from Americans nacho and Coca-Cola, you have a problem. We tried.
You got a lot
that
of
response.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, we literally took the nachos away and the letters came in,
Yeah.
And we tried to reduce Coke machines and related. That didn't work. So, but we have now plenty of water. We have vitamin waters in orange, and Jean-Guy was there. I mean, we serve in the morning complimentary orange and grapefruit from next door. And when you arrive and you stay in line, before you were soaking in the middle of the heat, but we give you now fresh little oranges so that when you wait there, because I'm sorry, we're so busy we can't even get you in so fast. You get 500 people in a matter of like 30 minutes. That's quite
Yeah, it's a line.
checkout.
It's literally a line.
Yeah, it's a line, right? So we give you oranges. I mean,
I didn't
simple,
understand.
very simple, not scientific surgery.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, we did the same to bunch. We had to healthy gourmet cuisine. That's how we call it.
No, we don't have gourmet food. We have very simple food, but healthy food,
Yeah.
organic. Anything else?